Alright, hey guys, welcome to this session by Great Learning. My name is Anirudh Rao, and in this session we are going to learn everything that you guys need to understand about machine learning. Now I know that a lot of you all are super excited for this particular session because all of you all want to understand a lot about machine learning. It's such a superb domain that has so many career perspectives, and not just career wise, it's a technology that is just absolutely amazing to everyone. Right? So guys, I hope all of you all are excited to find out how you can get started to go on to learn. Now, before we actually begin with the session, guys, do take a second to hit the comment section, hit the chat box, and just type in a quick yes or a no. Type in a quick yes if you can hear me fine, if you can see my screen fine, and so that I have a confirmation from you side and we can get started, right? Okay, now while you guys go on to give me a confirmation, I want to understand what it is that you guys are looking forward to learning in the domain of machine learning, right? So quickly after you give me a confirmation, head to the comment section, let me know which part of machine learning excites you guys, right? So guys, head to the comment section, put that down. While you guys put that down, I'm sure I'm monitoring all of your comments using my mobile phone in real time. So any question, regardless how simple the question might sound, the point of our live sessions here is to make sure you have an opportunity to chat with us experts and get your doubts cleared, right? So guys, definitely head to the comment section, put down all of your questions, and eventually we'll get started. Okay, superb. Now I see your confirmation from a lot of people: Vaishnavi, Swati, Maria, Prasad, Nitin, Preetam, Ranjit, Satyajit. Well guys, superb. Welcome to this particular session. I hope you guys are having a lovely day today, because with this particular session you are going to understand the basics of machine learning, everything from all the way to understanding what this particular domain is, right? In detail we're going to take a look at why you should be considering machine learning first of all. In today's world, we have to know that machine learning is one of the most, sorry for the informal language, it is considered as the hottest job in the world today, right? A data scientist's role, a data analyst's role, a machine learning engineer's role, right? So we're going to be discussing in detail about why machine learning is required, what is machine learning, what are some of the types of machine learning, and I'll give you very good and simple examples to make sure that all of you all who might have never heard of machine learning, never used machine learning, have some clarity on it, right? Well guys, after this we're going to take a look at understanding how the entire process of machine learning actually works. Right from understanding the problem to giving out a solution, we will check out a very nice flowchart and I'll explain how the process works. Once that is done, you might see that I see Shubham is asking a question: which programming language I need? Well Shubham, you can see the last but one point of the agenda, it says Python for machine learning. So we are going to be focusing a lot on Python, and for machine learning, Python is considered to be the language, right? Now Satyajit says Python or R programming language. R programming language is also absolutely fantastic, but it is mostly towards the data analysis side. Since we are trying to take a look at understanding, approaching it from a very basic standpoint of view and ensuring that you guys have concrete knowledge, I'm also going to be showing you a quick demo. The point of the demo is to make sure you guys realize that machine learning might be way easier than you guys actually thought, right? So we're going to be doing all of that, and at the end I'm going to be guiding you guys with our specialization programs, which will definitely help you have a concrete career path through which all of you all, right, every one of you who's watching this session can become experts, right? Well guys, I have one question for you guys before we begin with the first item on the agenda. Have you guys subscribed to our Great Learning YouTube channel yet? If you haven't, head to the comment section and just put down a quick yes if you have subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, well, I can tell you that we have so many videos we put out for you guys for free to make sure that you guys can get towards your career goals, and all of this is a win-win situation for you because all the subject matter experts here are guiding their we're all putting in a lot of efforts, we're all putting in a lot of research, in-depth research, to bring you the best possible content. And when you subscribe, you guys will be the first ones to get notified about this, right? So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and with that we can get started, right? Okay, superb guys. Now, one important thing, let us understand at the very start of the session itself. You would have heard about machine learning, or you would have heard about this concept mostly when you're reading a blog about data science, looking at something which has to do with data science and data analytics. Correct? Now, when you take a look at knowing that, you must ask a question. Hey Anirudh, why is machine learning so important in data science? Why is machine learning the top role today? Why is machine learning engineers getting paid among the highest salaries that the world is providing today? If you're asking those questions, here is the answer. With respect to data science, with respect to machine learning, both of these domains are trying their best. They are the reasons why we have, why we are progressing towards artificial intelligence, right? Now, when you think about it, 15 years back, probably when smartphones were just starting out, they weren't really as smart as the smartphones we have today, right? Today, if you want to find out which song it is, you can whistle the song to your mobile phone and it has the intelligence to analyze what you whistled, find the frequencies, isolate it, listen to other songs, match it and give you a result. Have you guys heard of this app called Shazam? Shazam basically is where you're playing a random song. Maybe you're at a cafe, you're at a bar, there is a song that is playing and you quickly just open your phone and say, hey Google, which song is this? Immediately it'll tell you, right? So how do you think it is even doing all of these? How do you think Tesla's process of Tesla cars, right? They're coming soon to India as well. So when you take a look at understanding how these guys have implemented autonomous driving, everything from the most basic aspect to the most complicated applications that we have today, everything uses a bit of machine learning. It uses a bit of artificial intelligence. And what are we trying to do with machine learning? We are trying to get our computers to understand data. Now you might be very confused when I say that. You'll be like, hey, my phone happens to be the fastest phone that I have. My computer is the most intelligent. I have the most powerful graphic card, processor and everything. What you're missing is the point at the end of the day. If you just keep diving deep into how your computer works, at the most when you reach the goal, you'll realize your computer is only seeing zeros and it is only seeing ones. It has to make sense of the entire world by just looking at zeros, by just looking at ones, putting them in some patterns and making sense out of them. Now tell me, do you really think your computer is extremely intelligent as it is? No. We give it intelligence. We give it a process where we also, we're trying to impart knowledge into it. With respect to machine learning, we are doing the same. We are trying to get our machines to think like human beings. How would a human being think? Now, the same music example, before Shazam, before any of these intelligence, what would you do? You would just ask your friend who's probably a singer, you would ask your mom, dad, colleague, friend saying, hey, I just heard this tune, I'll just probably sing you the tune, can you guess the song? Or you'll say, oh, it's at the tip of my tongue, I'm not getting it, right? This has happened. You were looking for human expertise because you know that person is intelligent and can give you an answer. Guess what? Machines are also intelligent today and they can also give you the answer that you require, correct? But to go to that point, you have to train your machine and you have to give it some data to learn. Exact same scenario of you guys being in school or you guys being in college, as in when you guys had to learn something, you use textbooks, you use notes. I am very sure you used YouTube videos to learn as well, right? Because YouTube is an absolute fantastic place for knowledge. Now similarly here as well, for your machine to learn, we provide some data, and that data we obtain from multiple data sets that we have in today's world. So getting our computers to become intelligent is the goal. How do we go about doing it is what I'm going to be discussing ahead. But for now, we also need to understand why machine learning is required in today's world, especially as a solution to the problems that we are generating, right? Let me tell you this. The first reason, there's many reasons. In fact, I can probably tell you 35, 40 reasons of why machine learning is at its peak right now. But the most important reason why everyone around the world is looking at machine learning is because it helps in reducing so many cost factors that are involved. There is a new trend that is developing. If you Google it, which are the jobs that will become obsolete in the next couple of years, maybe in the next 20 years, you will see that all these jobs which has probably nothing to do with machine machine learning, nothing to do with AI, are the ones which are being replaced by that technology itself, correct? So when you think about all of these, in terms of career perspective, you guys are on an amazing track to have access to fantastic salaries. But what is the employer thinking, right? Now the employer, whenever you're going to look for a job, be it startups, mid-tier companies or big companies, they will want to find the most efficient way to handle large amounts of data, right? Now I'll give you a simple hint. By the time you actually heard that particular sound, every one of our hard disks were full 10 times over just the second you heard that sound. That is how much data the entire world is generating, right? There's a person asking you a question. Will we get certificate after this? Please answer. Well, you will get a certificate if you tune into all of our Great Learning courses that we have on the Great Learning Academy page. I'm sure someone, the person handling the comment, is going to give you a link to Great Learning Academy. There you have access to multiple free courses, hundreds and hundreds of free courses. So there, if you go on to complete a course, you will get a certificate. Since this is a live session, you will not have a certificate for this. But do not be fazed by that. Without even if you're not getting a certificate, ladies and gentlemen, you will be getting a lot of concrete knowledge and simple understanding. Just in the 1 hour span that we'll be discussing, you will have complete idea of the fundamentals of how machine learning works, right? Anyway, getting back, after employers know that every time someone generates the data, you can handle a large amount of data, you have to be very curious about knowing what else can machine learning do that nothing else can. Guess what? It is so important in today's world. It will help you drive your business to success. If you've ever been in a situation where your manager asks, hey, why is the sales of this product very low last month, or what is happening, why is the sales so high, why are we selling so many products? Well, the answer, instead of having a human perspective give you a guess saying, oh, I think it might be that, you can have your machine learning model say this is the exact reason why your your products are selling really well or they're not selling really well. You can find out so many things which are hidden in your data that at the end of the day, everyone wants to find more. Because if you just look at data, you'll be like, okay, nothing, big deal. But once your machine learning algorithm starts seeing and making sense of this data, they will give you a new perspective about what can be done, what cannot be done, and it will not guess. It will give you a guess with respect to probability. It will say, hey, there is a 90% chance that your product will be trending next month. Of course, when it is 90% probability, in my opinion, that is as good as yes, it will happen, correct? So when the entire world comes into one direction and says, yes, this is what we are expecting for, that is the reason why machine learning as a technology is trending, why machine learning as a career is also trending, right? Now, Aditya has been asking a lot of questions. Thank you so much for your interaction, Aditya. You asked the question, sir, which course is best if we are interested in coding? Well, Aditya, that's a very good question. If you are looking forward to becoming an expert in this particular domain, if you're looking forward to becoming an expert in coding, machine learning, data science, AI, make sure you stick around, Aditya, because for all of you all who are tuned in, I will make sure to guide you on the most structured paths that you guys can take, right from being beginners all the way to being experts, right? So we're going to be covering all of that in detail as well. So Aditya, stay tuned. I am looking forward to more comments from you, and I'm sure we'll have more interactions. Now guys, coming to the types of machine learning, right? This is where things become super interesting. How does your machine even learn, right? How do we teach it to understand? Right? So when we think about the types of machine learning that we have out there, there are three important types. One is supervised learning, the other one is unsupervised learning, and the third one is reinforcement learning. Guess what? You have used all these techniques by yourself whenever you are learning these concepts. I promise you have used it, even though you might not know that, hey, were these concepts in machine learning or not, but these are the ways we'll be teaching our machines, right? So without further ado, let us dive right into the first one to take a look at supervised learning. Now, Sujit has a question. Alexa and Siri is created by using natural language processing. Sir, you are absolutely right, Sujit. So whenever we are saying natural language processing, you're eventually training your machine to not just copy paste something from somewhere. You're getting it to understand text. You're getting it to recognize a pattern, match the pattern, give you an accessible individual output. That part where you're getting an individual accessible output, the concepts of machine learning algorithms are directly affecting there as well. So be it in natural language processing, be it in image processing, you will see the concepts of machine learning and deep learning somewhere hidden in the trend there, which will be a concrete reason of why it's happening, right? Siri and Alexa cannot function without machine learning. They cannot, absolutely not function without having to have some sort of intelligence with them, right? Or else every response Alexa and Siri gives will have to be no matter what questions they ask, it has the intelligence to answer, right? Where is it getting all of that from? It's the important point. Now, Sujit, you ask a question, sir. I'm not interested in coding. What are the others which I can study, sir? Well, Sujit, it so happens that all these domains that we're discussing, data science, data analysis, machine learning, deep learning, you are going to require coding knowledge, because without coding, even though you are an expert of all of these concepts, you will not be able to convey it to your computer. Now, I don't know why you feel like you're not interested in coding, but trust me, once you learn a programming language as easy as Python, as I'll show you in the demo, you will be interested to take a look at, explore a little more about it. Because if it is this simple, and it's not just super simple, there are complex things there, but if you find the simplest way to learn the complex concepts, I promise you're gonna have a lot of fun. Right? Anyway, guys, coming back to supervised learning. Now, with respect to supervised learning, if you have to get your computer to understand these are flowers, these are dumbbells, and these are car pictures, tell me one thing. This is not the only picture in the entire world that is of flower, that is of dumbbell and car, right? We see flowers, dumbbells, and cars probably everywhere daily in our lives. So how do we recognize it? Why doesn't our computer understand this? Well, it is because of the fact that when you were a very little kid, you would have been taught A for apple, B for ball, C for car, right? We've been trained every day to know what it is, what a car looks like. You would have all traveled in a car and everything, right? So you have also been trained, even though now it feels like, oh, I already know it. Yes, how do you know it? Because of training. Now, when we are teaching something to the machine learning algorithm, especially in supervised learning, there is something which is supervising how it learns. In this particular case, instead of me just giving the flower picture to the computer, or flower picture, dumbbell picture, or car picture, I will say that, hey, whatever you are seeing is flowers. Whatever you as a computer are seeing are dumbbell. Now, whatever you are seeing is a picture of a car. Now, when I say that, and when I give it 1,000 images of flowers, 1,000 images of dumbbell, 1,000 images of flowers, it will start looking at patterns. It will figure out on its own what a flower looks like. It will figure out on its own what a dumbbell looks like, what a car looks like, right? Now, if your training is very good, if the data that you give for training is very good, as in you have multiple angles of a car. Now, this is only the side angle, right? You can have a picture from the top, you can have it from the back, from the front, with the headlights on, without the headlights on. You can have a picture of the engine, everything. So here, with respect to supervised learning, you will give the labels out. You would have told the machine, hey, this is this one. Learn this and figure it out on your own. Just like when you are given a textbook in your college and say, hey, please learn everything that's here. This is all important knowledge, and later you will be given a test so that we can figure out your testing, your knowledge, right? So, with respect to supervised learning, one important mathematical concept, y is equal to f of x, becomes very important. What we are basically trying to do with this is we are trying to have some sort of input in our hand, and we are running a function on the input which is transforming it to be an output. Now, in our case, the input is multiple images of multiple things. When we run a function on it to say, hey, figure out what is going on and eventually get an output, that is what we are doing, right? So mapping an output as a function of the input is very important. Now, Aditya, I know you're super excited to ask your questions, but please do ask it once. Do not spam the comment section all All right, Aditya. Now he says, sir, I have learned basics of C, C++, Python, so I loved it very much. I was wondering how one can make an Android application. Aditya, that's a very good question. We have multiple videos on the channel that basically talks about that. There is a Python tutorial wherein you can learn Kiwi, right? Kiwi is also super good for working with interfaces and creating your own mobile apps. We have multiple other libraries which are discussed as well. So I hope you're subscribed to the channel, Aditya, and we can have we already have videos on this, and we can definitely have more videos as well. Right now, guys, coming to unsupervised learning, this is where things are slightly different. Now, before we discuss unsupervised learning, let me quickly tell you one more thing about supervised learning. Supervised learning is a method where there are two groups in it. One is called regression, the other one is called classification. Regression is very simple. If you go to Google right now and say, hey Google, what is the weather like tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.? It will tell you, right? It can predict, it can predict what happens in the future and already tell you about it. That is also in the form of supervised learning. In fact, we're going to be using supervised learning for our demo that I'm going to be showing you guys. And then we have classification. Classification is very simple. If I give you pictures of flowers, pictures of cars, pictures of dumbbells, and say, can you split it out in cars, in dumbbells, and in the other type? Don't you think it can't do that? When you classify it and when you make it into groups, that is also a part of supervised learning. Now, the way you would teach a model to understand unsupervised learning is slightly different. Here, look, I have the same images that I'm giving to the computer, but I am not telling the computer what image this is, right? I will not tell it what image this is. It has to understand on its own. It has to find a structure that is present to say, hey, okay, so I have looked at multiple images of flowers, so maybe this is also a flower. That is how your computer will think. That is how your machine learning model will think with respect to unsupervised learning. Again, it would have seen hundreds and thousands of images of dumbbells. It will figure out how one can go on to learn. It knows what a dumbbell looks like, even though it might not know it is called a dumbbell. It knows how, it just doesn't know what. Correct? That finding the structure is what we are looking at unsupervised learning. There are many chances where you guys also might have seen this, especially if you have had some coding experience, and if you have never written code in your life, the first time you look at a programming example, you'll be like, what is this? You probably wouldn't understand what it means, where it is used, how it is used, and all of that. But once you started training little by little, you understood, okay, print means displaying something on the output, correct? Slowly, the way you learn, your computers will also learn the same way. We are trying to get it to think just like us, right? Renku Roy says Google is connected to machine learning. Yes, of course, Renku, when you think about it, Google is using multiple hundreds of extremely intelligent algorithms in all the products that they use, right? Okay, so welcome to this session, Ankit Kumar. Welcome to all of you guys who have tuned in right now. We are discussing unsupervised learning currently, and in unsupervised learning, we have two types of grouping. One is called clustering, one is called association. You have again used products which have used both clustering and association. With respect to clustering, if I just give you one crate which is full of mangoes and say, hey guys, there are some raw mangoes here, there are some ripe mangoes, can you please keep raw mangoes to the left side? Can you keep all the ripe mangoes that are ready to eat on the right side? Can you not do it? You can do it because you know what a ripe mango is, you know what a raw mango is. When we get to teach our machine this and get it to group, that is when we're using the concept called as clustering, right? And then think about association. Association, if you guys have ever watched if you guys have ever actually watched a TV show on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, or whenever you're watching videos on YouTube also, right? It will start suggesting automatically. If your autoplay is on after you've watched a video, the next video it will be recommending is something similar to what you're doing. Well, it is very simple for you to say, well, I was watching Great Learning's video, so of course one more Great Learning, fantastic video from Great Learning was recommended. But how does it know? How does YouTube know what to recommend to you? How is it so intelligent that it understands, hey, so maybe Ankit wants to watch more of machine learning, so let me start recommending machine learning stuff so Ankit can learn, right? It is intelligent to help you out better. If it is doing that, everyone does it. Amazon Prime does it, YouTube does it, Vimeo does it, Netflix does it, Airtel Extreme does it, so Hotstar does it, so everyone does it. So when you take a look at this, how it works, now you know it's called the concept of association, right? Now, Supervised learning done, unsupervised learning done. What's the next thing? The next thing is basically reinforcement learning. In the case of reinforcement learning, guys, quickly head to the comment section and tell me if you have pets, if you have cats, and if you have dogs, because I will tell you how reinforcement learning works. If you have ever had I don't know if it works with cats, but I know for sure that it works with dogs. If you have ever trained your dog to sit, to get up, to fetch your stick, or any training that a professional trainer would have given to a dog, you will realize one thing. Whenever the dog actually does what the trainer says, he will give a little biscuit to the dog, he will give a little sweet, he will give a little treat. Correct? You've seen that, I'm sure, on the videos in real life also. When you're training something, when your dog does something which you want it to do, when it is doing things correctly, you give it a little biscuit. When it is doing something wrong, of course you will not give it a biscuit probably, right? So if the trainer says, hey, sit, if the dog sits, it will get a biscuit. It knows that, hey, if I sit, I'll get a biscuit. But what if the dog runs away? What if you say, hey, dog, sit, but your dog is like, absolutely no, and it just runs away. It'll bark and run away. Will it still get a biscuit? No, right? So reinforcement learning is actually using your current situation to learn. The dog understands if it follows the command from the trainer, it will get a biscuit. So all that the dog is thinking is, how can I get more and more and more number of biscuits, right? So your algorithm also works in the same way. When you say, hey, if you do things correctly, I will give you a small reward. In that case, your algorithm is excited to know, how can I find the maximum rewards that is possible. Right? When that is the case, the way it learns is very, very similar to how your pets, cats or dogs also are trained in real life, right? You're seeing this. People might have not taught you about machine learning in this perspective, seeing you can relate everything to your human learning, even how a dog learns and all of that. And all of these things we already know, but we are just finding ways to get our machine to understand this as well. And reinforcement learning is a very, very important concept, which will eventually do just that, right? Now, with this, I know you guys are curious. You guys might be saying, okay, now we know unsupervised learning, supervised learning, reinforcement learning, a lot of these concepts. So how are they even working? How is our model even performing some sort of learning? How is it understanding things? How is it understanding things? Let us go back to your school. Let us go back to your college, because there is one more example, right? Now, whenever we have to train the machine learning algorithm, we will give it certain data. Just like how you have your textbooks, YouTube videos, anything that you would have used to learn for your examination, right? It is not like you just sit in the classroom, go write your examination. You do some learning. Even in the classroom, you're sitting and learning from your professors, correct? So what do? Once you have learned everything, you are asked to close your textbook. You are asked to, keep all your books outside, maybe come inside, and just from your knowledge, write an examination. Test your ability. That's why it's called as an exam. That's why it's called as a test. Right? Similarly, what we will do is, we will not give all the data to the machine learning model. It's just like saying, I'll give you a textbook, write your exam. You can get 100 out of 100 there, correct? Right? So without that, if I just give you your textbook and say write, it is as good as you just directly copying. It doesn't require any intelligence to do that. Maybe you need intelligence to find out where you have to copy from, but I'm not suggesting that, right? So when we split the data into two, it has never seen what your testing data looks like. So that is where all your examination questions are. So we use the training data to train the algorithm. Once it has learned something, I'm like, hey, now I want to understand what it is that you have learned. So let me test you, right? That is one very simple process. But then we also have to think about an aspect of understanding. I told you with the help of a flowchart that I'll teach you how machine learning model works, right? Well, Om Kashyap says, hello sir, time for machine learning. I want the code, sir. I can't wait to do that. Yes, Om Kashyap, just like you, I am very sure, even Aditya, I am sure Ankit, I am sure Renkuroy, every one of you all who is watching is super excited to find out about code, right? You might be expecting that there is a 100 line of code that I'll have to explain for you guys to do something simple. Absolutely not. I have a very good demo. Let's just get right into the demo in a couple of minutes from now, right? Now guys, taking a look at how machine learning works. First of all, you have to realize that we're trying to automate a lot of things here. All the manual tasks that we might have, get our machines to do it for us very quickly, correct? So the first thing when someone comes to me saying, hey, here is my problem, what I will do is I will understand the problem completely, and next I will start gathering data about it. Why do I have to gather data? Why is it not that I just understood it is enough? Because if I just do that, I will not have any data to train my machine learning algorithm. Without your data, your machine learning algorithm will never be able to learn or train. It's like me giving you no textbook and saying, now I'll give you an examination. It will not work, correct? So after gathering all the data, now I'll realize that even for you guys, whenever you were in college, you would have had multiple textbooks for the same subject. So you will start understanding which textbook you have to learn, which unit from, which module from, which notes you have to refer, all of that. So basically you're pre-processing the data to put into your head. Similarly, here also we'll be doing the same thing. Once your data is clean, once you have a plan to say, this is what I'll study from this particular book, this is what I should be studying and all of that, the next thing you'll actually start studying, right? That's when there is one important step here called as exploratory data analysis. First you would have marked everything that you want to learn. The next thing you will also take a look at understanding is how do you learn that, and you actually start your learning. This is where this part called as machine learning algorithm comes. Now guys, let me clear something which is very, very important for you to know here. There are two terms: machine learning algorithm, machine learning model. So what is machine learning algorithm? The machine learning algorithm is the logic which is used to give you a solution. Once you have actually had the solution, it is called as a machine learning model, because your model is now ready to start solving your problems, correct? That is a difference you should know. So once your algorithm sees all your data and it actually starts learning, this blue color box is where it starts to learn, it starts to become a model. And once it is a model, you will try to again give it some examination, try to find out what part of machine learning should it actually if it has learned something or not. And once it has learned something, you will tune it, you will tweak it, you will make sure it is working to the best of its ability and it is working at its most efficient way. Once you do that, you go back to your client, you go back to your manager and you say, hey, this is the problem you gave me, this is how I have attacked the problem, I have solved the problem, here is my model is 95% efficient in solving whatever problem that you have given. And that part is called as model deployment, when it is actually put to use. Right? Superb. Aditya says, yes, I am also curious and eager. And Om Kashyap says, sir, I've done linear regression, KNN and simple algorithms. I want to go beyond. Love you, sir. Well, Om Kashyap, thank you so much. It means a lot to us. I hope you have subscribed, Om Kashyap, because whenever you guys subscribe, we have all our live sessions with all of our subject matter experts, not just in data science or machine learning, in any domain that you guys want to learn, right? You can join in the session, ask questions, get your doubts cleared and learn as well. Right? Well guys, super. Now we have to understand Python for machine learning, right? Why do we even use Python for machine learning? In today's world, Python is considered to be the most simple, the most elegant programming language to learn. And I am sure, guys, you tell me in the comment section, will you agree with this statement when I say that Python is a very powerful, very popular and an easy to learn programming language? Head to the comment section. I want you guys to comment and I want to see if you guys share the same opinion. Because since Python makes it so easy, even for a person who has never seen Python code before, if you look at it, yes, you might not understand a lot, but you will figure out some things, right? Some basic facts, some stuff you would have figured out saying, oh, okay, so it is doing this. How are you doing that? You are doing that only because it is written in a very easy to understand English programming, English language, right? Now, if I show you a very complex code written in C#, C++ or C, it has so many things which you have never heard of. Printf, scanf, cin, cout, stdio, conio. For someone who has never seen programming, they'll be like, what is this? I have no idea what is going on, right? It is complex. I remember my first programming language was C, then C++, it was Java, JavaScript, then I figured out Python. And the day I found Python out, I have been there for the last 10 years for sure, right? So you have to understand one thing. When things are as easy as this, the entire world definitely wants to trend on that. And look at the number of Python developer jobs that have openings right now. Hundreds of new jobs every single day. And with the COVID-19 pandemic, you can apply to jobs that are in the US and you can still work from home and draw an even more lucrative salary, right? So when the entire world says we want to use Python for machine learning, you would have to understand that, hey, if this is there, if the demand is here, let me go on to do this. You'll not be doing it just for the demand. You'll be doing it because Python is a beautiful programming language, and once you figure out the way to navigate with respect to Python, probably just like me, you guys will be stuck to this programming language, and you guys will want to have a very long-term career in this particular domain, right? And guys, working with Python, installing Python, all of it is very easy. There's multiple IDEs, as in softwares you can install to run Python. PyCharm is a beautiful integrated development environment. To install Python, you can directly go to the Python website. You have to run one or two small commands and you're done installing Python. Then we have the Anaconda package manager. For all the people who do not want to write code right at the start to install Python, install something called as Anaconda distribution. Now I have created a video, it is on our channel, which says how to install Anaconda Python on Windows. If you guys are using Windows, if you want to install Python, check it out. You have to do a couple of very simple mouse clicks. At the end of it, you have everything you need ready for you guys to start learning. Now for the people who will say, hey, I don't want to do any of that, I want the most simplest way to work with this, you have something called as Google Collaboratory. Google Collaboratory is nothing but a Jupyter notebook where you write code, and it is very simple. You can start directly writing code while you're sitting at your favorite restaurant, maybe you're sitting at your Starbucks or something. You can start writing code from anywhere in the entire world. You can save it, you can run it, and you don't even need your world's fastest computers to do that, because with respect to Google, you'll be using the Google Cloud platform. You're doing all of that in a cloud computing platform. Right now, guys, head to the comment section. Tell me if you have heard of these libraries. Right, Numpy and pandas are extremely important for machine learning, because Numpy tells you about how you can work with respect to numerical aspect of things. How can you do some numerical computations and statistical analysis? And then when you think about pandas is basically the library which will help you give more data structures. The way you will start storing, multi-dimensional data structures such as data frames, and you have something called as a series data structure as well. These are super popular, super important for machine learning. And after this, you will also realize that, hey, okay, if this is all super important, what is the library that is very, very important for machine learning, without which you cannot work? That is this library called scikit-learn that you see at the right side here. Scikit-learn is the heart of machine learning in Python. If you remove scikit-learn, your job to create a machine learning algorithm will go from 10 lines of code probably to 1500 lines of code. That is how important scikit-learn is. And of course, you would have heard of TensorFlow, I'm very sure. You would have heard of PyTorch. TensorFlow is from the experts at Google, which is mainly used for machine learning and deep learning. And we have PyTorch. PyTorch is from the developers at Facebook. All these three will help you get one step, if not 100 steps closer to machine learning with Python, right? Next, after you have worked on all of this, after you've given all the solutions, the next thing is to actually have the result ready. To have the result ready, there is no better way than creating beautiful looking graphs and visualizations to do it. And you have libraries such as Matplotlib and Seaborn to go on to do that. Now, I know you guys are waiting to understand the demo. I know you guys are quickly taking a look at saying, hey, let's jump to code. Right after this particular slide, right after this particular session, we are going to be diving right into the code. But before we dive into the code, there is one important thing you guys have to understand, is that the traditional way of programming is very different from how you program your machine learning algorithm to understand. Look at the left side. I have something called traditional programming. In traditional programming, guys, it is very simple. You give some problem statement that you have to your program, and eventually you give some data. It uses your program, it uses your data to basically understand, perform some calculation and give you an output, correct? But with machine learning, it's very different. We will give it the data, we will give it the output. We are like, hey, here is the data, here is what you should know, and find a way to do it on its own. You understanding this, right? The output is not the goal in machine learning. The model is the goal, which will give us a structure that lies in between data and output. I'll give you a picture of cars. I'll just show you what a car looks like. Now you find out from other images and figure out if it is a car or not, right? Think about that. This is very important for all of you all to understand before starting your career in machine learning, because everyone usually thinks it is this. You provide some data, you write a program, you have the output, machine learning ready. No, you give your data, you give your output to your machine learning algorithm, have it to find a structure. Finding the most efficient way through which a structure is built is what that differs machine learning a lot from the other domains out there. Is this clear, guys? With this, what are some of these various algorithms that we can take a look at right now? Some of you all have told me, sir, I've worked on these many algorithms. I am sure looking at these you'll figure out what they are, right? Many ways, there are so many algorithms, there are so many types of learning. We already saw supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. What you guys should understand is that when you're starting to learn, take it step by step, find it out one by one, and then you guys eventually start attacking the problem, and eventually then you guys start working on it. Because at the end of the day, when you look at all of these things, if you're a person who's looking for a job in machine learning, when you look at this slide, you'll be like, whoa, this is exactly what everyone is asking, or most of the people are asking for jobs. Once you start attacking each of them one by one and start learning it and figuring out how things work, you guys will become the experts, right? Now, logistic regression, linear regression, all of these concepts are something which we try to, you remember when I told you we are trying to build the relationships. This, when we say regression, we are trying to build a relationship wherein we are also predicting something at the same time. Now, without going right into the depths of what this is, how this works, all these types of individual algorithms, I already have a video for the top 5 machine learning algorithms you guys should learn. There is a video that is already ready on the channel. Make sure you guys check that out as well. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part that all of you all have been so excited to join in. You guys want to understand how you can go on to perform some machine learning in Python. Now guys, I have to tell you one thing. If you've already worked on machine learning, you've already worked on Python, all of this will come simple to you. But you also have to understand there are people who have tuned into this session who might have never seen Python code, who might have never worked on machine learning. They will be very confused to understand how difficult is it? Can they learn? Are they scared of programming? Is it possible for them to do? Now, our job as a machine learning community is to make sure all of these guys are in the clear as well, right? So with this very simple demo that I'm going to show you guys, even if you cannot understand what the code is doing at every point of time, I'll try to explain it, but figure this out. It is not your time to memorize all the code that you see on your screen right now. It is for you to understand that, hey, with so little kind of code, we can do so much in Python. That is what I want you guys to figure out, right? Well guys, let's dive right into it. Let us pick up the most popular, the type of regression that all of you all should know about. If you do not know at this moment of time, do not worry, it's okay, because you guys have started your learning, right? So when we're taking a look at understanding how linear regression works, or what it is that even we are trying to do in this demo, this is basically Google Collaboratory, guys. This is where I usually write all of my Python code here, and it is remote. It stays everywhere I go, and I can, if I'm like eating lunch and I get an idea of how to write code, I'll just open my mobile, type a bit of code, test it, and done. Right? It is as simple as that. I don't have to install anything, I don't have to configure anything, I don't have to break my head about any of those processes where beginners will find it very difficult. Correct? Superb. Now guys, I'll give you one simple example. What we are trying to do is get our machine learning algorithm to figure out why the price of the houses will change. Now if you look at it, if you just look at your neighboring houses, or anywhere in your area or out of your locality, you will realize that for every locality there is some sort of price per square foot there. You'll realize every house is built different, and every house will cost a different amount of money. Correct? It's not like, hey, if you have 10 lakhs, I'll give you a house regardless of anything. No, that doesn't happen a lot today, right? It might happen with respect to condos, it might happen with respect to apartments, probably saying, we have 10 2 BHK apartments, this is the price you'll have to pay for one. Now, how do you get your machine learning algorithm to figure out what are these factors that will cause the change in the price of your house, right? Now it can be so many things. I will tell you this. First of all, if you're paying for a house, you'll be looking at the size of the house, right? If the house is bigger, of course more material would have gone into it, you'll be spending more money there. But what is the most important aspect you have to try to understand here is that it is not only your house size, how many cars can you park, how many bedrooms are there, which area is it in, how far away is it from things like airports, things like schools, things like supermarkets, shopping markets, and all of that. everything will have some sort of a dependency to say this is the reason why this house costs so much. Even the crime rate in the area, if there is an area which has like ton of crime, why would people want to pay super high prices to go there? It will not make sense. Now, we understand this. Getting our machine learning model to understand this is the goal. This data set that I'll be considering for the demonstration in today's video is something called as the Boston housing data set. Basically, in Boston, it has picked out so many different aspects of how things work and why the prices are depending on so many factors. Now, the first couple of code segments, let me zoom in a little so all of you all can see this. Basically, you remember when I told you all these libraries are very important for machine learning? That's exactly what we're taking a look at. Then this library we never saw. What is sklearn? We never saw sklearn, but we saw scikit-learn, right? scikit, scikit. sklearn is nothing but the short for scikit-learn, ladies and gentlemen. If I just go ahead and hit play to run this, now it will give me an error. It will be like, hey, where is the data set? You're saying open this data set right now, but I cannot open it because I cannot find it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly help it understand the data set. Right now I have uploaded the data set. Let me give it 1 or 2 seconds for it to upload. Once it completes the uploading, I'm going to hit play again. Now all of our libraries are loaded, all of our data what we need is loaded, and here is a sample of 5 rows worth of data. You can find out the crime rate for the house. You can find out the age of the house. If there is a 200-year-old house, will you be paying the same amount for a house which was built brand new? Of course not. A brand new house will cost way more than some ancient house, correct? Unless it's some antique or a palace or something like that. But majority, think about it. And then even the amount of tax that is paid in the house, right? If your house is bigger, the tax value of the house is again bigger. So you'll have to shell out more money. So we can understand everything from, understanding the crime rate, the age of the house, what is the tax that is paid, how much of a square footing you will have in your house. There are so many factors. All of these numbers that you see on your screen right now, you will try to figure out which of these factors will have how much effect on your learning and getting our machine learning model to learn. Now don't worry if you do not understand each and every line of what this does. Basically we're just trying to put out some metrics so we can say, here is your nearest supermarket, here is the tax you pay on the house, here is how many cars you can park, here is the crime rate, here is the age of the house. Now tell me if you can figure out why this house costs so much. When you ask a question, we are trying to answer that, right? Now, I brought in the data. After bringing in the data, what was the next step? The next step was to pre-process the data here, right? Now, let me quickly take a look at why this is giving me an error. It says boss1 is a tuple which is not callable, right? Okay, boss1.head pandas. Okay, now guys, for all the people who might have worked on this, can you guys quickly head to the comment section and let me know why we are getting this particular error? It's a very simple one. What we are basically trying to achieve with this particular step is to tell, hey, if you just have data, sometimes it can be incorrectly put in. So to remove all of these inconsistencies that might be present in this particular data, all we are trying to do is say, do we have anything here we can print which will give us some idea, some scope of what is going on. Now for the people who are Om Kashyap and for Aditya and all of you guys who are really excited, can you tell me how you guys are going to be fixing this error? Now regardless of us fixing the error or not, guys, this is a pre-processing step. Our pre-processing step is not going to be very important here, because at the end of the day, let me tell you this, our data is already pre-processed and ready to use. Anyway, we will get back to that. Coming to this part where we are actually doing that part where I told you about the examination, right? Om Kashyap has a solution. Perfect, Om Kashyap. Right. Now, coming to this part where I'll have to explain you guys what we are trying to do with respect to the data. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are trying to split the data for training and we're splitting the data for testing purposes. This is like your textbook. This is like your questions in examination. If I'm giving it 100 house data, I'm basically telling, hey, you only learn for the 70 houses. 30 houses I will not give you the data right now, but later when you learn it and you come back to me, I will test you with these 30 brand new house data. If you can tell me correct answer, I know that you would have learned something, right? So as soon as I go on to click it, my data data is basically being split into two things. One is the training data set for training, the other one is the testing data set, right? Look at this. These are all the code you'll have to import the package 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all 7, 8 lines. Our data is ready to actually be handled for our machine learning model. Now we're going to be using linear regression. Linear regression, guys, again, Kriti Ramurthy asked me a question, sir, explain linear regression briefly. Well, Kriti, linear regression is when you're trying to apply a function on your data and you're trying to map a relationship between what your machine learning algorithm can predict versus what it has to do. Once you have a graph, it's called as a fit line or a best fit line. Once it goes on to map all of these points with respect to how you would want to look at it, you will have a way to say, okay, so it is using this way of learning to bring it closer to the required data or moving it far away from that. Then that will give you full clarity on it, right? Okay. Now, with one line of code, ladies and gentlemen, this is all that you require to actually start loading your linear regression model to be used. Now, as soon as I click play here, with one line of code, my linear regression model is loaded. But it is loaded. We are telling it I'm going to be using linear regression. But what I have not told it is, can you start learning? Again, just one line of code called that. This process is basically called as model fitting. When we say model fitting, we are trying to get it to train. Now you remember I told you that we split the data into two parts. Here we are trying to use the training data. The testing data is later. It is like leaking your examination paper if I give it testing data right now. What I am doing is I am giving it training data. As soon as I hit play, the second it said this, it means that it has already learned everything it has to know about the Boston housing data set. It understands it now. One line of code, right? For the people who might have never done this before, you might be thinking that, oh no, we might require 100 lines to teach our machine learning model. The actual learning happens only in one line, but to get to that point you have to work on the data. That is where all of this comes into the picture, right? Now after training the model, the next thing you have to do is give it a test so that you understand if your machine learning model has learned anything or not. Here you see that we are giving it the testing data instead of the training data. As soon as I hit play, we have performed the predictions. Now with just 2 clicks of my mouse, my machine learning model has learnt it. Now I have given it a test. What is the next thing after you have written your examination? You have to find out how much you have scored, right? That is where the next step comes into the picture. Again, just one line of code will give us clarity about what is the error rate for machine learning. Now, for all the people who might not know what MSE means, it stands for mean squared error. Basically, whenever you see anything on the types of errors, whenever you're working with machine learning, what are you going to understand? What do you have to do if you find an error? You have to resolve it or you have to bring it down. What our machine learning model is telling us right now is saying, hey, my accuracy rate whenever you go on to evaluate a model has certain errors still. It is not 100% correct. There is still room for improvement. The error rate is as it stands. And what can I do with this error rate? Can I just look at it and say, oh, there's errors in my model and done? Not really. With this, what we are trying to do is, okay, if this is the error rate for these many number of training algorithms, or maybe if I give it a little lesser training data and give it more testing data, it might learn better. Or if I give it more training data and eventually help it with 3 or 4 textbooks, and then if I ask it more questions, maybe it would have learned better. To understand where you are, how you can go on to figure all these out, this is the part where you will start tweaking and tuning. Once you start your tweaking process, you'll go back, you'll do some changes, you will eventually come down, you'll try to find the error rate. Your error will be coming down and down, and your model accuracy will be going up and up, right guys? Superb. I see that we have some programmers in the house and you guys gave me the solution about what needs to be done to resolve an error as well. Superb job Om Kashyap, superb job Swati Vijay. All of you guys are in the correct domain right now. Now guys, one important thing that everyone asks me in the domain of machine learning is, whenever you guys are starting to learn machine learning, I just showed you a very simple example of how you can learn, but for you guys to understand, okay, which algorithm should I use? Why am I using it that way only? What can I not use? Can I use some other algorithm there? Of course, you can use some other algorithm called as KNN algorithm to actually work on the same data set. I have done this, I have shown you this experiment in my top 5 machine learning algorithm videos as well, right? You can use the same data set, use multiple algorithms, find out which algorithm works the best and use that. that. You will get to that knowledge point, but the main important question is it can get really complex for a beginner to learn. And some of you all who might have learned from various data sources, you will understand that to have a career in this domain, you're going to require some very structured expertise, very structured learning, which will eventually help you get there, right? Now, when you take a look at understanding how you guys can get to a point where you're looking at expertise, I highly suggest you take a second to take a look at these post-graduation programs, world-class degree and certificate programs that we have here at Great Learning, right? You will have access to personalized live learning. You will have access to 500 plus hiring partners. And if you take a look at these success stories that we have had over 8,000 plus career transitions today, and we have 500 plus partners. On a whole, our alumni success report is absolutely fantastic. We are trusted by 25,000 plus learners, and eventually they have gone to say that they have gotten over a 50%, around 50% average hike after they've completed. You can find out a lot of details where our alumni are, the people who have graduated a post-graduation program here at Great Learning. You can understand what it is that they're saying, why they find it that Great Learning is the go-to source for their higher education, best faculties, immersive hands-on experience, program support, career mentorship. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not always about finding the best faculty to learn. You will also be finding the best mentors who are helping you alongside the faculty for you guys to learn. And whenever you guys can basically talk about learning something, especially like a post-graduation program, for example, this is a post-graduation program for 12 months online learning in artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? As I told you, you can see thousands of careers has been changed by this program. There was all of these people have been working for these companies. After learning, they have made a direct shift to all these jobs that they are looking for as well, right? Now, Om Kashyap has a question. Om Kashyap says, "Sir, I have one doubt. Can you please give me your few seconds?" Of course, Om Kashyap, I'm here to help you out. What was that test train split function? I don't understand it. Well, let me quickly tell you what it is, right? Now, Om Kashyap, here what we have to do is, I told you we have to split the data into testing and training, correct? It's like your textbook and your exam questions. If you see this one, concentrate on this particular feature here. This parameter is saying, hey, if you have, no matter how much of data that you have, split it into two parts. One part is training data, one more part is testing data. With respect to, you're just saying split it, it will not randomly do it. You have to tell it, okay, how much of split should I do? Well, here with respect to point 3, I'm telling that, hey, 30% of the entire data, give it for your testing purposes. If you have taken out 30%, how much is remaining? 70%. So it means 70 is going for training, 30 is going for testing, right? Superb. I see. Look at this, guys. I love this about you guys. Yeah, even alongside me teaching, you guys head to the comment section and quickly help out your peers and your members, right? That is very much important when you guys are actually working on your courses on your post-graduation program as well. In fact, this is a program that is done in collaboration with the University of Texas at Austin. This is a university that is ranked number 6 in business analytics and all of these things, which are very important for this particular concept. Now, guys, this is a paid certification program because this is 12 months. Our goal here is to take you guys from being beginners to making complete experts out of you guys if you've put in the effort there, right? So you will get 2 certificates. One is a certificate from the University of Texas at Austin itself, and one more is a certificate from Great Lakes Executive Learning. You can find out a lot of these details on the site itself, guys. You understand this. You're getting access to 225 plus hours of learning content, where the faculties of the Great Lakes Academy and even the University of Texas at Austin are teaching. You can find out everything that you'll be learning about on this page, right from the foundations, right from the basics, all the way to understanding how machine learning works, what you'll be doing, not just on the basic scale that we're talking about. You'll be learning this to an extreme amount of depth so that you have expertise. After machine learning, you already know that machine learning is very popular for AI, and every every domain in the entire world is just pushing towards the same AI destination. So it becomes important that you guys learn about artificial intelligence, and not just learning how you can work with artificial intelligence or implement concept, but you'll also be learning so many things about deep learning, time series forecasting, EDA means exploratory data analysis, visualizations, reinforcement learning, and so much more. After that, of course guys, you will have multiple projects that you guys will be working on. Look at this, every single module will have quizzes, every single modules will have projects that will ensure that you guys have some practical understanding, not just theoretical learning but practical learning as well. Right now, once you guys go on to do all of these, you'll be working on a real-time project. When you are going for your job interviews, when they ask you to solve a very important problem, you might be surprised to understand that it is a very complex problem. But if you have already worked on multiple industry level projects, which is eventually is exactly what is aligning your learning to the industry, it will be a piece of cake for you guys to clear through that as well, right? And as a learner, I understand it's not just the curriculum, it's not just the best faculty in the entire world that will make all the difference. We are also providing you with respect to career assistance, guys. As I already told you, we have multiple hiring partners through which you will have access to those job roles as well. And as I told you, you are learning from the top faculties and top academicians in the entire world of teaching, at least in my opinion. And it is not just the faculty members, it is also the mentors who will stay along with you, who will be guiding you with every step of the way to make sure you guys can attain expertise. You can find out many things, guys. I'm sure you'll be eager to understand the reviews for this particular course, understand what people are saying. You can find out a lot about that. You can find out reviews, ratings, so much more detail. And as I told you, since this is a comprehensive program through which you will become a specialist, you're not a person, this is not a 10-day course which is telling you I'll make you expert in data science or I'll make you expert in machine learning. This is a 12-month program which will take you from being a beginner all the way to you guys being an expert. So of course, guys, there's going to be a fees involved, but I can promise you one thing: for the price that you guys are paying, the value you're getting out of your money is absolutely amazing. Not just learning content from top faculty, you're getting access to our job portal where we have 500 plus hiring partners for us. You'll have individual doubt solving sessions. Look at this, I told you, right? 30 plus practical case studies. Whenever you're working on case studies, you will have guidance to work through this. And of course, in the comment section itself, you guys are helping out each other. So imagine doing that while you're going to work on your post-graduation program. You have access to something what we call as GL Confluence, wherein you can stay in touch with the industry level experts. You can stay in touch with your networking partners, understand what it is people around you are learning, eventually use that as well, right? So guys, there are many many of you, I am sure, who will be very much interested to take a look at this. The link you can find in the comment section right now. If there's more, you'll have a lot of questions. I'm sure there's a part where we have answered all of your FAQs. You can take a look at the other various programs which are very similar to this one as well, and I'm sure with this you will have even more questions. You might be even more excited and eager to get started. So ladies and gentlemen, just head to the last section of this particular page. Just put on your name, put on your mobile number, put on your email address, and put on your work experience. In your work experience, we'll understand that some of you might be college students, some of you might have graduated but looking for a job, or some of you might have less than 1 year experience. So just pick up whichever it is, wherever it is in your career right now, hit submit. Once you do, we will get an expert from our admissions team to give you a call in the next 4 hours, and they will help you to understand your career path. They will understand, they'll help you understand which post-graduation program here you should consider to bring you closer, to bring you the closest to your career goal, and they can help you meet all of your goals and eventually have access to fantastic jobs in the domain of machine learning, be it data science, AI, all of these domains. Right guys, superb. Make sure you guys are checking out. You can simply reach this website. Very simple, guys. Just go to greatlearning.in, and under explore programs you will find a section for machine learning. Just walk through all of these things. We have various programs. I just showed you one, but we have many programs that will help you get to your goals. Right? Superb, guys. With this, we have come to the end of this session. I hope all of you all watching the session had fun. Do take a second to like the video and for you guys to stay in touch with more amazing content like this, guys, take a second to hit that subscribe button, because whenever you subscribe, you guys will be the first ones to get notified whenever we put out new videos. And you've seen across the channel that we are putting out so many new videos across so many different domains, right? It will help you completely. So make sure to take a second to hit that subscribe button. On that note, I want to thank all of you all for joining this session. You guys are amazing. It is always a pleasure to be teaching you all, right? With that, guys, I hope we are clear with everything that we have covered, right from the introduction to the demo and even the specialization program, which will help you get to your goal. On that note, thank you so much for watching. My name is Anirudh Rao, and as always, I'm more than excited to see you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Have a beautiful day ahead.